Oh, she looked up here for me too. All this paper. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Time now is 3 p.m. I'd like to begin with a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, any correspondence, Mary?
No.
First up, we have the Board of Selectmen special joint meeting minutes. I would entertain a motion to approve those. So,
Second.
all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Carries. The next item of business here, the consideration of the SLR proposal, we're going to table. So I move that we table that to the next regular meeting. Do I have a second? All in favor of tabling, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We have three quotes here for the replacement of a radiator for engine number 1 at Stony Hill Fire Department. Do we have anybody from the fire department on board? I don't see anybody. I mean, I'm very
Dan, it's Dave Bunting. I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I didn't see you there. So, Dave, you want to give us a quick lowdown on what's going on with that thing?
Sure. Engine 1 is our pumper tanker, the second tanker in town, 2,000 gallons of water. It developed a radiator leak about 2 months ago. We've been topping it off with fluid. We've had a few different shops look at it, and they all agree that the radiator either needs to be replaced or rebuilt. We went to 4 different places for quotes. One of them knew he was going to be so high he didn't even want to write it. The other 3, one of them came in from Bruce Taylor Heavy Equipment. He's the highest at 13,000 and change. So it really comes down between the 2 other quotes. It's Gowans and Knight up in Watertown, or Firematic, which is the Pierce dealer over in Patterson. And if you look at the 2 quotes, Gowans and Knight is at $8,800. Firematic is at $9,152. But if you look into the details there, those quotes are actually a lot closer, and Gowans and Knight is actually higher. Because Gowans and Knight in their quote does not include the price of the antifreeze, which if we just use the number provided by Firematic at 376 and change, that actually puts Gowans and Knight a little bit higher than Firematic. Plus, Gowans and Knight is not including the price of hardware and a few other things in their quote, which Firematic does. And the biggest difference between the 2 is Gowans and Knight is going to pull out the original radiator, send it out to a radiator shop, and they're going to basically recore it or rebuild it, which is can be done, but a lot of shops don't like to do it because they're tend to re-leak at some point. Whereas Firematic is going to install a new factory radiator kit into that truck for the same or probably a little bit lower cost. So it's our opinion, my opinion as the chief engineer, that for the amount of money we're talking about, 9,000 ish, 9,500, whatever it comes out to, the best way to fix that truck for the longevity is to go with the Firematic bid, because that's going to be a new factory radiator direct from the manufacturer and repaired at the factory shop.
Okay, and it's worth noting, we did not send this to the fire commission because we just had 2 new appointees and we wanted to get this rolling more quickly. So
Okay.
We have the 3 quotes. So Firematic is what you guys recommend. Any thoughts here? Any discussion? I'm fine with it. Penny, you okay with Firematic?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, something you said, Dave, did get me. You mentioned something in effect 9,500 or whatever it is. We're going to approve up to not to exceed the quote. Is the quote?
What? Well, the quote is at 9152. The only difference between in both quotes is neither quote is accounting for possibly replacing the radiator hoses, which they will inspect upon pulling the truck apart to see if they feel that they need to be replaced or not. Sometimes, depending on what the type of leak, if it was a hose that was under high pressure and failed, then that would cause to be replaced. In this case, since it seems like it's the top tank that's leaking, neither one, believe it. There's going to be hose issues, but they can't guarantee it until they get in and tear it down.
So from
So
your
those,
perspective, that 9,500 would cover a hose.
yeah, I believe total around 9,500. Yeah, would cover hose replacement if we needed to also.
9,500. Okay. Done. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I would, I'll make the motion that we recommend to the Board of Finance and Capital Non-Recurring the amount of $10,000, not to exceed $10,000 for the
Okay.
replacement of the radiator for engine 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Okay. Next up, the main event, the budget deliberations. So obviously I've taken time to go over the budget with the comptroller. I've had a chance to talk to, department heads along the way. Not about every single item that I'm going to go back and change, but we've had a pretty good handle on what's going on with the town budget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each recommendation of change to the budget. I say change because there's actually one increase along the way, and we could discuss those as they come. So first up, I'll make each motion for discussion, and then we can vote on it after. So I move that we reduce the town clerk 10-130 account 5305 by $3,000. Now I'm saying that's reducing the increase. Am I saying that correct? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's,
Actually, showing
you're reducing the requested amount.
reducing the requested amount.
Yeah.
Which I
Not
need,
always-
which I
not
probably
always.
need to say the requested amount as I go, right? Okay, so I want to make sure I do this then.
Technically, I think you have to vote on every department too, eventually.
Oh, that's right, we do that. So I guess we can just go by the one.
You
Let's
want
just,
to just start with the board?
let's
of
just,
Ed?
let's just go. What's that?
You want to just start with the board of ed? And
Since we
start
have
at
them
the top?
on? Sure, okay,
And then we could just go select and then we know there's.
That's fine,
We'll just
since-
tell her we just vote.
Okay. all right. So, looking at the Board of Education,
Dan, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can we go back and can you explain how come you and Brad have come to that determination?
so I tell you, we're gonna stop here because I didn't have a seconded motion. We're gonna go straight to the Board of Education because they're here. And then Brad and I, we can go through each one. I'll tell you exactly each justification
Okay,
with each change. And then we
Okay.
do vote on everything, so we're just gonna go down each budget item when we get there.
okay, great. Thank
Okay,
you.
With respect to the Board of Ed, one of the things that happened, of course, was there was an increase to the Board of Education budget over the budget that was presented by the superintendent of $232,000 with the idea of adding back a math tutor and a custodian. Given where we are, I think, or we're going to end up on this entire budget, I'm going to be recommending we make, and in fact, I'll make a motion. I move that we reduce the increase to the 7-450 account by $232,754. That would restore it to what the superintendent of the schools recommended. Do I have a second?
Second for discussion.
Okay, yeah, and now we can discuss it. So any discussion?
Yeah, what account is that?
That is account 7-450, Board of Education. It's going to appear at the very end of your budget book.
Yep. Got it.
No, I'm gonna make two motions.
Because once we vote to approve, we're approving the budget.
Right.
So I would,
Okay, so we just want to do one number, is that?
I would just do one number.
Yeah,
because
we
once
probably
vote-
should
That's fine.
do the one.
Okay, so I'm also going to recommend that we remove from that budget request, $200,000. So the total reduction that I'm recommending is $432,754 even. And that is my motion.
A second for discussion.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I've been looking at both budgets and seeing where we're at. I know we're expecting some more money from the state, hopefully. Hopefully there's some insurance savings. So I would ask you to amend your motion to include an additional 240,000, making the total cut $672,754.
Okay. And we have, so I do know the one thing that we must consider, I think, is to your point, if there's more money coming, we have to have some sort of deal that we're going to add money back. Because right now we know we're going to find out that in May. Right now, this would mean they can't hire the extra psychologist and the language person. We have, I think with Jen, we have Christine Carver on board. You want to make any comments?
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I apologize. I'm in the car, so if I cut off, I apologize. We do not have any health insurance savings. If you support that motion, then not only are we not going to be able to hire the critical staff that we need, we're going to be cutting more into other critical programs. I would really urge you not to do that.
So Dr. Carver, what you're saying is not only do we lose the ability to hire those two positions, but we're going to be cutting into something else.
Correct. I mean, yes, if you go to Brian's amended motion, it's going to have another serious impact on our program. I understand, and I know that you all know that I am completely sympathetic and supportive of the notion of the increase to taxes, but we are going to start talking about cutting things that came up last year, and it is very significant, and we do not have any health savings yet. So it's not that easy to say, oh, you can just take it from health savings.
I don't think that's what I don't think that's what I said, Dr. Carver.
Well, that's what I heard.
Well, that's not what I said. I said, if we have an increase in the state funding and there are savings in the health insurance, that I would support giving the money back to you at that time. I don't think I said it was a lock at any point in my comments.
We do, and I will share with you, we do not think we're going to have any savings in health.
How much do you think the increase in the state funding is going to be?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. They're talking about raising the education cost sharing grant, the formula amount. I had heard 6%, and I think that when I talked to Brad, am I wrong, Brad? It could be like up to $600,000, but we won't know that until the end of session at best. And I think that's late May. It's way past the budget cycle.
Yeah, so right now we get $10 million in cost sharing money. So 6% would be roughly $600,000.
Again, that's not firm yet, though. I just want to be clear.
Would be by 100,000. Split the difference, if that's available to you. Okay.
Penny has her hand up.
Yeah,
Right,
hi, guys.
Yes.
Dr. Carver, Can you be more specific about what programs would have to be cut?
Well, we'd have to look at it, but we'd have to go to all the non-mandated things that we did last year. So after school clubs and activities, programs that are not bigger class sizes, like that kind of laundry list that, and we had serious impact last year. But if we're talking about going beyond another, what I heard Brian say, and again, I apologize. Dan knows I had an emergency and I had to pick up my son. But if we're talking about $600,000, that's beyond what just the new, not filling these new positions that we're requesting.
Dr. Carver, I will amend my motion, but I'm still going to request that we increase the cut by 100,000 to what was recommended. What is there?
Dan's initially was 432,754. Your amended motion is to reduce it by 532,754.
Correct.
Do you have your mental math thing up there? See where does that put the budgets?
So that would put the Board of Education at a 6.23% increase over the prior year. Assuming all the other recommendations you have go through, the town would be at a 5.13% increase overall. Because the town with your amended is 3.5. So the total budget would be 5.13 and would put the mill rate increase at 4.15%.
Okay.
Brian's initial motion would have taken the mill rate increase under 4% and the schools under 6%.
So, I mean, I'm inclined to, I will be inclined to support this because the truth is, a 6% increase every year is not sustainable. But I also realize that we need to do everything we can to hire these couple of folks. And I'm hoping in a few years, looking at the actual class enrollment, it's supposed to decline slightly. We're looking at that, I think, in 4 years from now, maybe, that we should have some declining numbers. Penny, what are your thoughts?
My thought is that we are going to be hiring a new superintendent, and that person is coming in immediately hamstrung. And I think this is a bad move. I appreciate, the mill rate. I appreciate the tax increase. But if we're going to hire somebody only to have that person come in and be faced with this kind of challenge, I think that's bad form for us. I think it's not healthy for the school system.
Okay. Dr. Carver, what is going to be the impact if we, put the was it $140,000 back? Is that enough relief?
So
And still add back if we get an increase in ECS?
So, Dr. Carver, it'd be a $300,000 reduction from your proposed budget.
Hold on.
on the 450.
On the 450, yes.
Yeah, obviously that's better.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for the board specifically, and what types of decisions they would make about, looking at some of the new positions versus other things, but it would obviously have a lesser impact.
Right. Well, listen, at the end of the day too, this is, listen, I think we're really trying to get this as close to, a 4% tax increase as possible for the taxpayer at this point, because it's going to be significant for everybody without hamstringing you. And while this is a recommendation to the Board of Finance, right, they're going to have ultimate say. I think that there's an appetite from the Board of Selectmen that if we could get some of that ECS savings, maybe that's a good time, to do something and hire those folks in the spring. So I know they have to be hired in the spring, right?
Correct. It's just the nature of the positions are really, really hard to fill. So we would definitely, on our best effort would be to do it before the end of June.
Right. And we should know where we stand early May. That's when session ends this year or sooner. And as far as the process,
So I was gonna jump into that. So, if this budget is set with ECS, what we currently think it's gonna be, the $10 million number, if it goes up after we set our budget, we can't adjust the mill rate at all. What we can do is through the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance and a town meeting, do a budget adjustment. And if we adjusted the revenue number, which being the equal cost sharing, knowing what we know then, and the Board of Ed budget at the same time, as long as they both go up equally, it doesn't change the mill rate. And we can make that adjustment by going through the boards and the town meeting, which would be the mechanism to do it. It's what we did a couple of years ago with Park and Rec, when we adjusted the interest income and adjusted the Park and Rec expense line.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated.
maybe. Okay. Sorry. No, I don't know what there's a good chance this is going to come back to us, and we will be able to add that, I think, with ECS. There's no question it's going to go up this year. There's no question. Okay. So then an amended motion would be a reduction of 532, 754 from the increase. Do I have that correctly?
Yeah, and you should mention in the motion, the new total amount for the Board of Ed would be 62,012,295. Again, this board only has bottom line approval. So
12,095 or
12,295. So it's 100,000 less than what's on your sheet.
okay. Okay. So I move we reduce the increase for the budget by 532,754 and that would be a total of 62,012,295. Second. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay. Motion carries. And Dr. Carver, thank you. And Dr. Brooks, thanks. And I think we have Jennifer Allen for being on.
He's still the 460.
Yeah, the 460.
Okay. Okay. In this case, okay. With the 460, I am aware that two things are in play. Number one, there may be some drip funding coming back to the schools. And I think there's an appetite again for the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance to add money from capital non-recurring, which is very strong right now, should we need anything from that account. So I'm making the motion to flat fund the account. So we're going to be reducing the increase by $168,025 for a total of $528,744. Second. Any discussion?
Can you explain that again? What's
So
coming back in?
We're going to keep the 460 account the same.
Right?
So we're instead of increasing it by, hold on here,
It was going to
$168,025 increase.
Mhm.
We're going to leave it flat. So the total is going to be $528,744. There's two things at play. Number one, we know that there's an opportunity for something called drip funding coming back to the schools to help with some maintenance. But we also have a very, very strong capital non-recurring account right now. So, there's always this opportunity with the Board of Finance has always said, we could come back if we needed more money for that account. So again, trying everything we can to limit these fairness here.
Yeah.
Percent increase.
I just wanted to say out loud, I'm completely comfortable with that recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, does that answer the questions?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Outstanding. Okay, so we have a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, the motion carries. Okay, that's it for the school. Now we can go to the town. If Dr. Carver, thanks. Yeah, Sherry rolled off. Jen, thank you. Dr. Brooks, thank you. Yeah, we'll go through each one just like we always do. Yeah. It's funny, I gotta relearn this every year. All right, so the first up is the Selectman budget. And I don't think we have to see the increase. We just say the number, right?
I think you just say the number.
Yeah, okay. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance, the Board of Selectmen for account 10100, the amount of $336,115.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. There you go. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for account number 10-015, the amount of $93,580 for the economic development.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I move that we recommend for the treasurer budget account 10-110, the amount to the Board of Finance, the amount of $5,500.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Finance Department, the account number 10-120, the amount of $490,184.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
For the town clerk, we will be making a change. If you take a look at the codifying microfilming, really the increase of $3,000 is not needed given on past spending. And that's pretty clear over the last few years. So we're going to flat fund that. So I move that for the town clerk account 10-130, that we recommend to the Board of Finance an amount of, where's my number?
So you have to adjust the line and then vote on the bottom line. Too.
Okay, so I have to,
You
yeah,
can
so
do
I
it
have
in
to-
one motion.
that's right. So we're going, yeah, so we're going to reduce the change from line 5305 from 3,000 to 0, right?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, so you want this middle column, this Board of Selectmen
Yeah.
column. So this is your column that you're working on, right? So they requested 31. You're reducing it
Okay.
by 3,000
Reducing by 3,000, 28,000
for a total
for a
of
total of
284.
284, 156. Got it. So I'll state that again, just so I can get this right. I move that for the town clerk account 10-130, that would reduce line 5305 from 28,000, excuse me, to 28,000. That's a reduction of $3,000. And the total will be $284,156.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next up, I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the assessor account 10-140, the amount of $292,862. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On the tax collector, we're going to be making a change. We're going to reduce it by the actual spend. So the increase on line 5201 for office expenses, the 58,600 was pretty rich, so we're going to decrease this by $8,600. So I'm making a motion that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the tax collector account 10-150, a reduction in line 5201 in the amount of $8,600, bringing the total of $50,000 for that line, and a total for the account of $241,130. All in favor, say aye.
I'm confused.
Okay,
So we are giving the tax collector account less than they have in this current year's budget. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, so I
Yes.
mean, when we were looking at it the other day, the last 3 fiscal years, they spent 43,000, and then in 2023, they spent 56,000, which is why we drove it up. But
Mhm.
56 turns out was an outlier. They were doing a lot more mailing. They were doing monthly delinquent notices, and we switched it to quarterly, and it hasn't affected our collected rate or anything like that. So that's why it bumped up. 25, we bumped it up a lot, and then she bumped it up a little off of that. But that's why. But the recent history shows that $50,000 should be enough.
Okay, thank you.
Through this year, they spent 23,000. So
All right,
And collections are way up.
great, Brad, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table and I've called for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next up. Yep, I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for professional services account 10-160, the amount of $431,180.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the probate court account 10-170, the amount of $8,000. For a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I move we recommend to the Board of Finance for information technology account 10190, the amount of $417,972.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We will be making a change with respect to account 10-210-5331, the property liability insurance. Here, we're going to be making a reduction of $14,296 when they get to the motion. Brad, do you want to chime in on?
sure. So we were entering the last year of our agreement with Kerma for our liability, auto, and property insurance. They approached us with extending it by 2 years. And then we kind of negotiated that, yeah, we'll extend it, but you take instead of going up 5% this year, which was originally budgeted, it goes up 2.5%. And then year 2, they can max increases 2.5%, and year 3, 5%. So we kind of negotiated a pretty good rate, what we feel like saves us low money up front, gives us more certainty in year 2 and 3. So Dan and I, it made a lot of sense to go for it.
So with that, I'm going to make the motion that we recommend to the Board of Finance, the town insurance account 10-210, line 5331, be reduced by $14,296, which will be a total of $586,141, for a total for the account of $1,320,520.
Second.
Numbers look good? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And motion carries. All right. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the planning and zoning account 10-250, the total amount of $320,321. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Registrar of Voters account 10-330, the amount of $150,800.
Second.
All
So-
in favor? Go ahead.
With this one, I should have brought it up with well, there was an additional request in there. The registrars put in their budget line, increase in the salaries for the 2 elected. This recommendation holds it in there, but that's still ultimately up to the Board of Finance to vote.
Next time yell at me before I call for the vote.
Sorry,
No worries.
you're rolling.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Next up, I recommend to the Board of Finance for the Boards and Commissions account 10-340, $55,600.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, I recommend to the Board of Finance for the Park and Recreation account of 10-380, the amount of $2,265,418. Is there any discussion, anything we have to add to that, Brad? That's always, I think they were right on this here. Okay, with that, I'll test your minds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Employee Benefits Account 10-390, the amount of $7,512,369.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for intergovernment agency subs, account number 10-405, the amount of $681,043. Any discussion or anything? Okay, I'll test your minds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the utilities charges, account 10-410, the amount of $3,719,417.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, we've been actually a little better this year. We've locked in utilities, so this was not as big of a budget driver as previous years. With that, I'll test your minds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I move to recommend to the Board of Finance for the account miscellaneous charges and transfers, number 10-420, the amount of $1,303,574. And we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Senior Center, account number 10-430, the amount of $270,816.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I move to recommend to the Board of Finance for Building and Inspection account 20-180, the amount of $389,268. Have a second?
I can only recuse myself from this because.
Okay.
Unless you need my.
No, it's okay. I mean, he's going to recruit himself for building.
Generally,
That's. Selectman Kessler, may I have a second, please? Are you,
Second.
okay. And they'll just be you and me. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions?
Just recusing myself.
Okay.
So,
Space for previous, so, all right, fair enough. I guess that's different than abstention. Recused. I guess technically we're supposed to make him leave the room.
I wasn't. Honestly,
No, that's
looking at
okay.
anybody.
I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the emergency management account 20-290, the amount of $47,350.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Fire Marshal account 20-300, the amount of $168,500. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay. With account 20-310, we're going to be looking for a change here. We're going to be reducing the law. I'm going to be making a motion in a moment to reduce line 5202 to take a number of things out of the budget for capital non-recurring instead. So I'm going to get that number up here so it's on my list. No.
It comes out 16,000.
Yeah, I just for the record, I'm going to go through the items just okay. So we're looking at a number of items on here, but so let's see, the portable radio batteries, the rad detector, rescue harness, bailout kits, replacement of pagers, suits for DuPont hazmat level, Those were the items. We'd already moved some other things CNR at a different time. The total is $16,447. So I'll go ahead and I'll make the motion so everybody understands. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Bethel Fire Department account 20-310, a reduction in line 5202 of $16,447. And that should bring the total to $68,726 for that line, for a total of $215,420 for the department. Second. That'll make sense. Can you get some more questions?
It does make sense, but I do have a question.
Sure.
For the capital non-recurring, I'm looking at some of the things that we are imagining can go into through that fund. If we're taking out replacements of pagers, if we're taking out portable radio batteries, these are things that have to be switched out on a regular basis. How does that jive with a non-recurring fund?
Sure. So, I mean, listen, that's a good point, but there are items that add value to the department, but are not necessarily recurring. I mean, we don't know how many years. Part of that is all based on time and years too. So with these batteries and these new portable radios, I mean, we could have those for 10 years. It could be a significant amount of time. And that's what I'm looking at as a capital item, because it's not always just the amount or that we ever have to replace them. It'd be like saying, well, we need a fire truck every 10 years or 20 years. We know that's a capital item.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Am I missing anything on that from your perspective? Okay, so I know that's where we've done that in the past.
We don't typically like to have the budget jump up for a one-time item either. So that $16,000, if we didn't take it out in CNR, would just be in their budget line item next year for things that in essence they don't need every year.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. So with that, then we have, I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So I have a similar issue with the Stony Hill Fire Department. So what I'm going to recommend, I'm just going to do the actual motion, and then we'll go through each item. This is a longer one. All right, I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Stony Hill Fire Department line 2030, a reduction in line 5202 of $3,500, bringing the total to $85,250. A reduction in line 5207 of $3,300, bringing that total to $31,350, and a reduction in line 5208 of $5,700, which brings that line of vehicle maintenance over to $6,500 for a total department amount of $226,350. Okay,
You
so
said 6,500. You meant 65,000.
I apologize. That's 65,500 for line 528 vehicle maintenance.
Before we vote, we've got you in the other times when we've voted or we've considered individual line items. Are there individual line items that you're looking to remove here?
Yes, and the items we were going to remove, I'm going to go through that on the discussion part. So with respect to the equipment and supplies, it's similar to the other one. It's pagers and hose. Through CNR. I mean, there's some hose in their budget, but these were larger, and these hoses last for many, many years. They have the ply movement issues through CNR. Ply movement was the it's here. In the right place. These were repairs to replace due to the age of the hose, and some of it was actually replacing hose for that one. And then the last item is the drop change for truck 4. And that's something that, it's a capital item with the truck that they should have done through CNR in the first place.
Okay.
Those are the 3 items that we're reducing. That total is the Yeah, the 16,000 that we went through here. What is the number?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, back, it's more, it's less than that. It was 5,700, 3,300, and 3,500. So we did those individually in those accounts. So any other further discussion or questions on that? Okay, I think we have a second for discussion. With that, I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. All right, next up, Police Department. I'm going to be making a motion in here that was going to be reducing this by $65,000 by removing one police officer from the increase and one vehicle from the increase, with the concept that there will be 3 vehicles in the budget, and then there'll be a 4th vehicle from CNR this year if we need it. With respect to the vehicles, we've had this discussion many times because we want to get it to a point where there's at least 3 vehicles in the budget every year. I think in the past, many years we've reduced it to 2. This year we're going to make sure there's 3, and then it's almost like every other year we need the 4th. So I think we're going to stick with CNR for this 4th one by removing it. And then the other request was for a new officer. The reason that I'm supporting removing this is we actually have had an individual out on guard leave for many years. That now that person has left, and we actually have an additional officer there. So given the the increases in the budget this year, we're going to see how we go because we're kind of fully staffed right now. We have a new chief, but temporarily. We'll probably have another chief soon. So let's see where we are after this year. So that's why I'm recommending taking out the extra increase in an officer. And that would be it for the police budget. Sorry, I got to make the motion here. So going to this one. Okay. So I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the police budget 20-360 to reduce line 5101 by 65,000. That will make the total line $6,193,496. So $6,193,496, and reduce line 5403 by $62,395. Where am I here? 43 for a total of $217,785 for a total budget of $6,977,875. So,
I have a question.
yes,
My understanding is that our new acting chief is indeed going to be temporary. How does this budget change affect our ability to hire a new chief? And or if we're going to move other people up the chain, hire somebody to replace as our officers move up in rank?
so right now, in our current budget, it has the current chief's salary. Well, I should say the former chief's salary. The current chief is making a little bit less than that. But as each person has moved up, they've moved into that spot. We've also hired people lower on the chain now at a lower amount. So if you think about it, they've got time now to earn up to where they were. So it's kind of balancing out. So it doesn't affect our ability to hire a new chief. And given what I know of the market right now, we're probably going to go to market with what the current chief's number was. I don't think, that's most likely. When we do that, I'm not sure yet. That's still up for discussion. Does that answer your questions?
It does. Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
You bet. So we have a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the social services account 30-200, the amount of $128,670.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the Health Department account number 30-350, the amount of $550,894.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the fleet maintenance account of 40-220, the amount of $471,326. I'll also say, with this account, we've spent a lot of time going through this, because in past years it's been over. So I think we're actually in a pretty decent spot here because it has been somewhat of a significant increase. Any further discussion regarding fleet? I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for Public Works account 40-230, the amount of $493,514. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay. With highway account 40-240, we're going to make a couple of changes. We're going to be looking to add some extra money with respect to the contracted snow removal. Obviously, we've had a tough winter this year, and the Director of Public Works has come back asking for a little bit more money for that account. And the other one is going to be a slight reduction in the road account. It's still going to be an increase of $50,000 over the current year, but we're going to be looking to make a reduction. And I believe that's going to be $1.1 million for that account. So I'll make the motion and then we can discuss it further. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the highway account 40-240 to increase the line 5310 by $13,000 for a total of $62,700, and reduce line 5404 road construction by $292,229 for a total of $1.1 million, for a total budget of $2,718,840. And I will say that is all in all, that's a 3.4%, almost 3.48% increase over last year. Any further discussion on highway?
Yeah, I've got a question. They were really pretty specific at the presentation that this is going to be one of the worst pothole years that we've had in a very long time. When I walk out onto my street, which is up in the Hoyts Hill, Governor's Lane area, the ground is swelling and it's already coming apart. And I am concerned that if we're going to decrease the funding for road construction and paving, we are going to hear anger from the population.
We're actually increasing it from last year's budget. It's an increase from where we were last year.
Yeah.
We're not
Right,
reducing.
right.
And
No,
Eric-
I understand that.
Remember, Eric in his presentation actually said that the real number was 1.2. He just added some in. So really, from where he was to where we are was only 100,000. And I don't think that's going to stop us from filling potholes or making repairs. And obviously, if there's an emergency situation like we've had in the past, a culvert problem or the floods, we pay for it, and don't take away from the roads that are already scheduled to be paved. So
It's also worth noting that we do get a little bit extra money each year with respect to transportation. This year I think we're getting 196,000, around 192,000, I believe, which is something we could use towards this. I think it's been history where we've saved it up a little bit so we could use it for a larger chunk of something. And we used salt and sand savings, which we are not going to have this year for roads. But to Selectman Turgeon's point, it is an increase. And I think they got very effective. You wanted to mention something.
Yeah, so the roadway repairs is actually line 5207. That account in highway, they have a budget of, they're requesting $162,800, which was not adjusted by this for roadway repairs. So, which to your point, and if they are really having a lot of maintenance issues this year because of the bad winter, and to Brian's point, that might be the account that takes more of a hit with potholes.
Mhm.
Typically, the road construction account is for when they do overlays or full depth reclamations,
Mhm.
not
Okay.
necessarily potholes and stuff. But obviously, the more potholes, a road might move up the list for having to be fully repaired or replaced.
Right,
I mean,
understood.
We've
Thank
come
you.
a long way in this account, and we were all committed. I remember when this account was under 500,000 when, I first started on the Board of Finance, and now we're at a realistic number of, 1.1 million, and hopefully in the next couple of years, we get up to 1.25 or somewhere around there. I mean, Matt knows how many years have we bond roads for? I mean, the money's in here, and I don't see a huge swell of anger on, we're still increasing the budget here and we're still gonna pave the roads. I think, Eric, to his own admission, put more in the budget than he needed. And I think that, it's a responsible allowance of increase of spending. We're still moving in the right direction. We're not going backwards.
Great. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance from transfer station account 40-245, the amount of $231,172.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for building maintenance 40-260, the amount of $950,946.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now, let's do here.
Tree warden.
Am I missing the paper?
Oh, it's top of that one. The one that has the finals on it.
I know, I guess
The
what
last
I'm
page.
saying is I'm
flip this
missing.
one up. This,
Oh,
as we
okay.
jump to the board
That's
today.
it. Like flipping around. Oh, wait, we gotta put numbers on those. I was gonna
I
say
know.
something. Otherwise, I know it's a order in. Okay,
I don't know numbers.
I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for tree warden account 40-270, the amount of $172,500.
Second.
This is a slight increase, over last year, for the tree warden. There's no discussion. I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance for the debt service account 50-440, the amount of $4,958,900.
Second.
Brad, you want to talk about your debt service?
Yeah,
Under any-
so
your excitement here?
No, nothing really exciting.
Okay.
This isn't everything that we have owed to us. We're still using some of our debt service fund. I think this year calls for the use of like 160,000 of it. But at some point we know we're gonna have debt again, whether it's school roofs or redoing a different building. So we're trying not to be too aggressive with our debt service fund because at some point our debt's gonna go back up again. But again, it's a decrease of 43,000 over the prior year. We're in a great spot with their debt, but it's, for now.
Okay. Any further discussion? I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. The other big account of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, I recommend to the Board of Finance for the library account 60-435, the amount of $1,444,337.
Can you run that again, Dan?
1.4 million. 1,000,000.
$1,044,000. That's what it was. $1,044,337.
Second.
Sorry, Megan.
You got lots of seconds. Did I say 1.4?
Yeah, 1,444,000.
Too many zeros.
Too little coffee. Okay. So that we have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And I see a lot of relief over there.
You did a good job with your budget.
You did an excellent
You did a
job.
very good job with your budget.
Okay, now we have to go to the totals, right?
Yep.
Okay. Brad, when we did this last time, we did the town budget total separately and the total budget separately? Board of Ed-
I
Board of
don't
Ed-
know, you have to do the town budget separately,
Separately,
because
and then
that's how it shows up.
Right, okay,
Yeah, and usually we mention what the town operating piece is,
right.
and you voted for the debt and maintenance separately,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, so let's do this. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance a total town budget of $40,475,162, which consists of a town operating budget of $34,987,518, and will result in a total budget. You're gonna add that to this, or we do that?
You should do it as a separate
That's
motion.
separate, okay. So that's the total then, $40,475,160. And I will say that's a 3.5% increase, down from over 5. So I'm very appreciative of the work that our department heads have done. And we're all putting into this because I think it's been a number of tough years for the taxpayer. And I think this budget really does show we're trying to be good to the taxpayer and also get everything done for our residents. It's a good balance. So with that, I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. I move that we recommend to the Board of Finance a total budget of $102,587,457.
It's gonna be 487. You reduced from your recommendation of the additional 100,000.
Gotcha.
So it's-
487. Thank you. 457. Okay, so I'll amend that. I recommend to the Board of Finance that we're a total budget of $102,487,457. I have a second.
Do you have to tell us what that's for?
That's the total town budget, or the total budget, everybody together. So that's,
On the stuff we already voted on.
that was town operating, debt service, the Board of Education maintenance budget, which we voted on, total town budget, Board of Education budget to the total number.
I have a question.
Of course.
I thought I just heard, and I could be very wrong. I thought I just heard that we vote separately for the town budget and the Board of Education. I thought they're two separate.
Right, we voted on the Board of Education in the beginning,
Okay,
so they could go. We just voted on the town one a moment ago, which was the $40,475,162.
right.
And so this is a separate one. We're required to vote on the entire budget and recommend that to the Board of Finance.
Understood. So I'm sorry, if I'm being obtuse or whatever. So the 102 million includes the Board of Education.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Brett, could you tell me what the percentage increase is on the overall budget when you put them all together?
Yeah, so with the town being at 3.5 and the school now being at 6.23%, the town overall is 5.13% increase in spending.
5 point what?
5.13. In real dollars, it's $5,003,813 more than the prior year.
Yeah, I just think, we keep talking about tough years, and I get it, but the trajectory we're on isn't sustainable. Sorry, you can't have 7% increases every year. Your budget will double in 10 years, and you'll be looking at a $205 million budget. That's not sustainable for the residents of Bethel. And I think we all need to work together and find ways to, keep costs down and come up with some innovative ways. I know you've been talking to other towns about cost sharing and whatnot, but I just want to make that point that the trajectory is not sustainable for this town. You can't keep increasing budgets by 6-7%. Just can't. People's salaries aren't going up 6-7%. Inflation's up. I know they're saying it's come down a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's fine to say, I'm not going to do this if we don't do that. But at the end of the day, there comes a cost factor. Sometimes cuts are painful. I listened to the superintendent. I amended my motion. Okay. but it's just not sustainable. And that's all I wanted to say.
Fair enough. Okay,
Do you want to know what the proposed mill rate would be at this point? Before you vote on the total?
Yep.
The proposed mill rate would be 31.67, which is a 4.15% increase, or 1.26 mils. So the current mill rate is 30.41. The proposed mill rate with what we know right now would be 31.67.
So what's the current mill rate is 30.what?
41.
30.41.
Yeah. The proposed is 31.67 for a 4.15% increase.
So it's roughly going up like 1.2 mils.
1.26.
1.26.
And it would be much higher, except we had good grand list growth this year. We had like $48 million our grand list grew by in assessed value, which represents roughly $1.5 million at the current mill rate of 30.41. Otherwise, this number would be a lot higher. Obviously, the expenses are up over 5.
Just to put it in perspective, if someone's car is assessed at $30,000, right? Their taxes are going to go up just on that vehicle alone, almost $360.
No, it's 1 mil increase. So 30,000 would be 30 mils. So it'd be
Oh,
$30 on the car.
30 mils, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for every 1,000, 1 mil.
Yeah. So $1.25 for every.
Yep, for every, so
$1,000
$1.25 for every
assessed.
$1,000 in assessment.
I mean, the other thing to consider is after the last revaluation, remember we found that the folks with a middle income home got hammered. It was one of these things because during the pandemic, everybody was coming over and the price of those were going up drastically. That somebody who had $1.2 million home, their taxes actually went down slightly, causing a shift of tax burden over the middle class. I think I'm particularly sensitive to that now, and I am hoping in a year or so when we reval again, maybe it irons itself out again. But
I think commercial got off late and it switched to
Yeah,
residential. The
it did.
commercial properties were much less heavily taxed than residential during
Yeah.
reevaluation.
theirs went up like 0.14% or some small number. It was crazy. Anyway, okay,
You gotta vote.
we have to vote. All in favor for the total budget, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
That motion carries.
The other piece of it, which I believe falls under 26-27 budget deliberations.
Yeah.
Is capital. So at this point, it doesn't seem like the Board of Selectmen is voting to move anything to the referendum for capital or the town meeting for capital.
No.
But I think it just, I didn't want
Yeah,
to walk away now.
No, I'm gonna include it in the presentation about what our recommendations are. But yeah, right now, I think it's pretty tough for the referendum.
Make a motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 4:08 PM. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.